Hello, and welcome to the Public Information Center number 1 for the Hanover Wastewater Treatment Plant Upgrades Schedule C Class Environmental Assessment. We thank you for your time, and we are interested in your feedback. So if you have any questions or comments about the information presented, please send them to us by email at jatin.singh@ainleygroup.com. The Municipal Class Environmental Assessment is a streamlined approach to satisfying the requirements of the Ontario Environmental Assessment Act for routine infrastructure projects. In essence, the Class EA is a planning process used to evaluate potential environmental impacts of infrastructure projects and is generally carried out in 5 phases. 1. Identification of the problem or opportunity. 2. Identification and evaluation of general alternative solutions. 3. Identification and evaluation of alternative design solutions. 4. Documentation of the process in an environmental study report. And 5. Implementation of the solution. A Schedule C project requires completion of all 5 phases. This PIC focuses on Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the process as outlined in the process flowchart. The purpose of this PIC is to provide information and to solicit feedback from rights holders, residents, and other agency stakeholders regarding the preliminary alternatives for plant upgrades in the town of Hanover. After evaluation of the existing wastewater treatment plant performance, condition, and capacity, as well as the existing and future wastewater flows from the service area, the problem and opportunity statement has been established as follows. In order to facilitate anticipated growth within the urban boundary of the town of Hanover to the year 2052, an average day wastewater treatment capacity of 13,800 meters cubed per day is needed. The study area for this project is the current municipal boundaries of Hanover and 4 potential expansion areas outside of the boundary. 2 extending into Grey County and 2 extending into Bruce County. The wastewater treatment plant upgrade will be planned to service existing households and also forecasted residential and industrial growth within the study area until the year 2052. The existing wastewater treatment plant was originally constructed in 1934 and has undergone 2 major expansions, one in the 1960s and a second in the 1980s. The existing plant consists of 2 process trains, namely Plant 1 and Plant 2, both of which are conventional activated sludge processes featuring primary clarifiers, aeration basins, and secondary clarifiers. Plant 1 and Plant 2 share a common influent sewer, pumping station, screening facilities, grit removal system, chlorine contact tank, anaerobic sludge digestion, and biosolids storage tank. The treated effluent from the process is discharged to the Saugeen River. The environmental compliance approval issued by the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks outlines the treatment capacity of each process based on different criteria. The rated capacity of the plant is 6,360 cubic meters per day. Unit processes within wastewater treatment facilities have varied basis of design. The unit processes at the Hanover plant, their basis of design, and the current capacity are listed in the table presented here. As part of this class environmental assessment, historical wastewater flows were reviewed over the 2017 to 2022 period. A future flow projection was conducted based on an assumed population and employment growth rate defined by Official Plan Amendment number 11. Historical wastewater flows have been relatively consistent with a slight downward trend over the observation period. The 5-year average flow to the plant is 5,374.7 cubic meters per day. Peak day flows are generally 2 to 3 times the average day flow and remain within the hydraulic capacity of the plant. The chart presented here shows the existing capacity of each unit process at the plant in equivalent terms for average day flow. Available capacity exceeding the current ECA rating is shown in green. As part of this Class EA, future population and flow projections were conducted for the Hanover Wastewater Treatment Plant. Development has been projected to proceed at a pace of 137 persons and 59 new jobs each year based on Official Plan Amendment Number 11. This leads to a total population growth of 4,242 and 1,824 new jobs by the year 2052. The 30-year projected growth will require a total treatment capacity in terms of average day flow of 13,789 cubic meters per day. Presented here are the prescribed effluent limits and effluent objectives from the environmental compliance approval for the treatment plant. Please feel free to pause the presentation and review at your own pace. The table presented here compares the maximum monthly average concentrations of the monitored discharge parameters to the ECA objectives and limits. As it can be observed, the plant is maintaining the discharge criteria beneath the objective concentrations for most parameters. pH is slightly above the objective, however, it remains within the ECA limit. The following two slides present the general alternative solutions that were considered to address the problem and opportunity statement. Alternative 1, do nothing. This alternative involves no changes from the existing conditions. It is inconsistent with the Grey County and the Town of Hanover official plans. This alternative will not solve the problem as it does not facilitate development. As such, this is not a viable solution to address the problem and opportunity statement. Alternative 2, limit growth. Contrary to the provisions outlined in the official plans of Grey County and the Town of Hanover, this approach lacks compatibility with the town's development needs. As such, this is not a viable solution to address the problem and opportunity statement. Alternative 3, inflow and infiltration reduction. The outcome of I&I reduction aimed at decreasing the overall wastewater flow to the wastewater treatment plant is uncertain. The impact may not be substantial enough to significantly decrease the overall flow. Additionally, the process is time-consuming and might not effectively address the treatment requirements in the near future. However, this alternative could be deemed as a partial contribution to reducing wastewater flows. As such, this alternative is not a complete solution to address the problem and opportunity statement. However, it could be implemented in conjunction with the preferred alternative. Alternative 4, optimize plant operation. This alternative involves implementing measures to optimize and enhance the performance of the current unit processes within the wastewater treatment plant with the objective of expanding its capacity to treat larger volumes of wastewater flow. This alternative is not a complete solution to address the problem and opportunity statement. However, it could be implemented in conjunction with the preferred alternative. Alternative 5, rebuild the wastewater treatment plant. This alternative involves the demolition of the existing plant and the construction of a new wastewater treatment plant at the same location. Wastewater treatment during the demolition process cannot be guaranteed to satisfy the treatment needs of the town. As such, this is not a viable solution to address the problem and opportunity statement. Alternative 6, expand and upgrade the existing wastewater treatment plant. Expansion of the plant on the existing site will require additional land area. The availability of the land within the existing site footprint is constrained by floodplain and the Saugeen River, but expansion is feasible. As such, this alternative provides a viable solution to address the problem and opportunity statement. Alternative 7, direct future wastewater flows to another nearby wastewater treatment plant. The feasibility of this alternative relies on the presence of a nearby wastewater treatment plant capable of accommodating the wastewater flow from the Town of Hanover. Implementing this approach would require the transportation of wastewater over a considerable distance and would require a willing recipient. This alternative presents significant challenges in terms of practical implementation. As such, this is not considered a viable solution to address the problem and opportunity statement. Alternative 8, build a new wastewater treatment plant at a different location. The certainty of acquiring suitable land for a new wastewater treatment plant is not guaranteed. In addition, there are challenges and inefficiencies related to the diversion of existing sewers between two treatment locations and/or fully redirecting the existing collection system to a new location. However, greenfield development is less costly than building within a constrained site. As such, this alternative provides a viable solution to address the problem and opportunity statement. Alternative 9, decentralized wastewater treatment plants. This alternative would involve the construction of an additional or several additional wastewater treatment plants to service new development. Current development plans do not account for on-site wastewater treatment. This solution would require buy-in from all new developers and would likely deter development. In addition, long-term operation of several wastewater treatment facilities would be onerous and costly. For this reason, this is not considered a viable solution. The long-listed alternative solutions were evaluated against the following criteria: complexity, compatibility with current policies and regulations, impacts to property owners, impacts to adjacent business and commercial properties, capital costs, and their ability to address the problem and opportunity statement. Overall, Alternative 6, expansion and upgrade of the existing wastewater treatment plant, is the preferred alternative. Following from the selection of Alternative 6, presented here is the conceptual expansion area of the preliminary preferred alternative. The conceptual expansion area is situated on the southern side of the existing plant. This area is regulated by the Saugeen River Conservation Authority, and the SVCA confirms that it is within the floodplain, and a portion of the area will be designated as a wetland. As part of the Schedule C Class EA, several studies are anticipated to be required in order to comply with the municipal class environmental assessment process. An assimilative capacity study, which will evaluate the receiving water and determine effluent criteria for point discharges. An archaeological assessment, which will evaluate the archaeological potential of the subject site. A cultural heritage assessment, which will evaluate the potential for built heritage resources and cultural heritage landscapes. A natural heritage assessment and environmental inventory study. A desktop level environmental screening and a baseline natural features assessment. And finally, a floodplain study, which will determine the current extent of flooding at the site. Proposed schedule for completion of the Class EA. Comments on PIC number 1 materials will be received by the town's project team until June 7th, 2024. Upon completion of developing alternative design concepts for the preferred solution, there will be a follow-up PIC. Following a review of all comments and issuance of responses, where necessary, the environmental study report will be prepared to document the Class EA process and will be made available for a mandatory 30-day public review period. A notice of study completion will be issued that will identify the preferred solution, along with initiating the mandatory 30-day public review period. Online links to the ESR document will be made available for the simplification of access to the study materials. At the conclusion of the 30-day public review period, assuming there are no requests for a Section 16 order, the Class EA process is considered complete and the project will move forward with detailed design and construction. Your comments are important to us. Following this presentation, we invite you to submit any comments by completing the comment sheet. Comment sheets may be provided by email to either of the members of the project team listed here.